Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's #1 mother-son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, here once again with my mother, Karen Olin.
Hello.
Well overdue here. It's been
Yeah.
about, a week and a half since we've recorded. Celtics, since we last spoke, are 5-2, 60-16 overall, first in the Atlantic, first in the East, first in the NBA, and we've now clinched all of those titles with 6 games to go. The Celtics will have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. I mean, can't say it's a shock. We've kind of known that this would probably be the case for a while, but good to finally have it in the bag. And
Agreed.
it's getting close. It's getting close. Just 6 games left. Let's get into the ones that we've already played. First one kicks off the road trip that we've been on at Pistons 129-102. No Tatum, Horford, or Drew. The injury list or rest list really is going to be a theme throughout a lot of these games. No Jalen Duren for the Pistons. A little disappointment. I've got a lot of Jalen Duren stock. Yeah. What'd you think of this one? We don't have to dwell too long on our sad.
And I don't know, do you know why
Pistons.
Jalen Duren wasn't playing? He's not on the inactive.
Said coach's decision.
Yeah. So was that a rest? But they're not
Disciplinary
resting
or
for any.
rest?
Yeah. So something was
Gonna
up with
rest
that.
him.
Yeah.
He's like 20 years old.
Agreed. He must have had a last minute nagging
it's
injury or
either
something.
disciplinary or something.
Yeah.
Something happened. Who knows? But
and boy, did they miss him.
yeah,
This was, I thought, a horrible. Yeah.
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 Usually we don't have to
their
dwell too long on this
bright,
game.
shining moments for the Pistons. We've,
Yeah.
said they're not playing as well as they look like they could play, but this game was just a big disappointment. I thought
Yeah, just talk. I think I said this a million times last week, and we'll probably say it a million times again this week. Talk about a team that's just ready for this season to be over.
Yeah, agreed. And that
Pistons
could be it.
are high on the list.
Yeah.
They're looking to next season. But yeah, especially in the third quarter of this game. The one note I had is a little too many minutes for the starters still. Come on.
Agreed.
Joe. What are we doing?
Yes.
I know
Should
you're
have
resting
increased.
guys and there's a rotation, but
Yeah.
you're
Derek White
destroying the
shouldn't play
Pistons. Yes,
36
30 minutes.
Yeah.
The game was over at mid-third quarter.
Yeah, he played 36 minutes.
Yeah, no reason.
Or 35, 49, and Jaylen Brown 33. I agree. Probably a little bit earlier, but I guess if that's our worst complaint about the game.
Yeah, unless you have anything else, I'm ready to move on.
Nope. That was, yeah.
We'll get the road trip continues. Win at Chicago, 124-113. This one, no Jaylen Brown, no Kristaps, no Drew again. Hauser, 7 for 8 from 3. Both him and Pritchard continue to be on quite the heater to end the year. Hopefully that continues. But what'd you think about this one? Close game. First time the Bulls have played us close. Yeah. First time, I was going close the whole way. First time the Bulls have played us close in a while.
Yeah, I thought DeMar DeRozan was good. Sometimes he's sort of.
We'll put a pin in that for later.
Okay,
I
thought, yeah,
my
I
choice.
thought this he stood out a little bit, and sometimes he kind of blends as just average. But I really think he did a great job carrying the team this time.
Yeah.
9 assists, and 28 points. I thought he did a great job this game. I thought for all of our starters or 3 of our starters missing, we were fine. It was close as it should have been, right? For all those people missing.
Yeah.
They're a decent team, or they could be a decent team. I was going
to say, where are the Bulls right now in the standings? Do they still have a shot? Are they in the play?
They're missing so many people. Zach LaVine, Ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see. Yeah, they're in the play-in.
Yeah.
They've clinched.
No, I think
okay,
they're a decent team. I thought it should be a decent game. And LaVine's been out for a while, so they're used to playing without him. So, I thought for us
Yeah,
missing three
so the
starters, this was a fine.
9-10 playing game is going to be them versus Atlanta. We'll
Yeah.
talk about in a second. That'll be an interesting one. I don't know.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
But not a lot
and
to say. I thought, you know, we did fine. You know,
mhm,
yeah, for three, like I said, three starters missing. Um, you know, a few more turnovers, but that's rightly so with
yeah,
the people that we were missing
exactly.
and
Not a great Tatum
um
game, but one of those ones where he
uh
kind of,
yeah, no.
shoots a
They
lot, and you're like, oh
I think this
boy.
is a team
But
that plays pretty good defense on him
yeah,
anyway. But
I don't have
you know,
any
he's had a lot of
outstanding
foul shots
complaints.
and yeah. Yeah, they played decent. They're smart. I mean, they play decent defense on him. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, the Sam Hauser, he was like unbelievable,
Yeah, on
88%.
fire.
He was really good.
Yeah, 7 for 8 from three.
Yeah. 8 for 9
That put
overall.
us
He
over
was,
the edge.
yeah, I agreed. Yeah. And Al's been playing very well as well. He had a great game. Luke Cornett, 13 rebounds.
Still Team Cornette, even if his minutes seem to be fading. But
They do seem to be fading. I mean, this was a big one because we were missing people, but yeah, they are slowly fading. But yeah, not much to say
no,
about this.
agreed. All right, well, let's get to the two maybe that we'll have the most to say about. I mean,
Yeah.
a couple of good ones later, but um, back-to-back losses in Atlanta to the Hawks. First one, 118-120, blowing a 30-point lead to lose it down the stretch. Yeah, not ideal. I mean, again, it's when you clinch the number one seed in the NBA, it's hard to be like get all rah about it. But
100%. And the first half, like they
exactly. It's like
seemed to have
you took
it
your foot
in the
off the
bag.
gas.
Yes, they completely did. Um, and I do think as soon as you clinch the first place, and everybody like is reading these two games deeply, you know, you don't want to get hurt at this point, right? You're
Yeah.
not diving for any balls. You're not,
No.
I mean, behind the scenes, there has to be a don't get hurt in any of these games.
Yes.
That they're just you just know you're not going to. So I think the intensity in some cases is just going to be different. It just simply is. This was a case where I think they thought, I mean, everybody thought they had this in the bag and that they were going to be done. And then, they just were shooting well in the second half and we went back to our same old, the only
I mean,
criticism. Go
no
ahead.
Trae Young either is the other kind of note. It's like, oh man.
Sometimes I think they play better without him because you don't
Yes,
know
they
where the
hate
scoring
playing
is.
with him, and I don't blame them
His
because
defense is
correct.
non-existent.
Yes.
And you know exactly where the offense is going to come from.
Correct. I'd lose my mind if I was
75%.
on his team. I'd lose my
Yeah.
mind. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna
And
play no defense.
offensively, he's fun to
Yeah.
watch.
You're
He
gonna play
is
no
fun to watch.
defense and then take all the shots, and we're not gonna be a very good
Exactly.
team. It's like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I would lose my mind.
So I think these guys are excited to play without him.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Murray's
that was definitely part.
excited.
Especially,
Everyone's
who
excited.
more
Yeah.
than anybody who we'll get to in the next game is DeJounte Murray.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
more excited than anybody.
Agreed. Yeah. It's kind of like Maxey was without Embiid. It's Murray time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think the one thing as we continue to harp on is execution down the stretch. It's like I don't care that you blew a 30-point lead, but can we execute instead of just the same old nightmare every time as if it gets close?
Both games.
Yeah.
Both games.
Correct.
The fourth quarter was abysmal.
Yeah.
Overtime.
It's unbelievable.
Abysmal.
And again, when you're down 30 and there are teams on such a run, it's hard to get kind of back into that mentality. I get that, but like, can we just?
But then you had the second game close the entire time.
Yeah.
And Tatum took 12 shots in the second game, 12 in the fourth quarter. Everyone else was at 1 or 2, and he took 12 shots, not making many of them.
And you know what? It's the worst is in games like this where nobody's shooting well.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, nobody's shooting well, so I might as well just play isolation every possession. It's like,
yeah. And it's just too easily read. He's too slow getting the shot off. The double team comes. And even when he passes out of that last minute double team, it's not a great pass. There's too much pressure. They hopefully are watching, video and saying, what other things can we do? Maybe they'll rewatch the Thunder game and say, that's how you move off the ball. That's how you pass the ball. Those are plays. They're actually running plays.
Yeah.
So it's painful. Those last moments are painful. And again, not deep worries. I mean, people I think overanalyze
But
losing
yeah,
back to back
again,
to
we
who
have
is
the
really
best.
scared in a 7-game series when we are playing with the highest intensity that we're going to lose out to the Hawks. You're not
No,
going to be.
of course.
It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Again, all of this has to be
Yeah.
seen in the context of we're by far the top team in the
Yes.
NBA right now. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
dropped a couple of games that, you shouldn't, but
Yeah,
whatever.
agreed.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, I saw it this week. The Bucks, who are the 2 seed, are further away from us than the
And the
one
top.
is from the 10
I know.
in the
I wrote it down in
West.
my notes. That's crazy. I said the
Uh,
West is tough. 11 games behind from 1 through seed 10.
yeah.
You're right.
And we're
And
13 or
yeah,
14 to the Bucks.
ahead of the second place team. 24 game difference between the East 1 to 10.
Yeah.
24 games. So yeah, it's crazy. The West is definitely crazy.
West is tough.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Anything
I
else from
wrote
the
this in my
Hawks doubleheader? 44 shots for 44 points and 44 shots for DeJounte Murray. I mean,
Yeah, I know everyone was
not,
like, oh, it's a record. He has how many? 44. He shot 44
yeah,
times.
exactly.
It's like, what? 44 times.
I know 44
But
shots
they needed
on
him. I
44
mean,
points
they
on
needed
44
him.
shots. No, I mean
And they
neither
beat
team
us.
neither team shot well, and I mean
Yeah. And
that
they beat us.
sometimes
So
that'll
can't
win.
complain too much. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
All right. Well, let's get to the next one.
yep.
Still traveling. Oh, I didn't write down the score for this game. But I have it up here. Celtics travel to New Orleans, beat the Pelicans 104-92. First time in quite a while. We're at full strength, kind of, a couple injuries in there, but a lot of rest as well. But first time we had the full squad. And I really thought we played well this game. I thought this
I
was a
agree.
great team win. And the Pelicans are
Agreed.
good. They're
Yeah.
streaking. They're a good team. Zion's been on quite a run.
Yeah.
He took some early year criticism for maybe not being in shape and stuff, but he's, as of late, he's been playing well and they're a good team. And I thought we really came back and got this one done.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought in the beginning when Zion was going to the hoop, I was like, who is ever going to stop him? Who is going to?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of seemed to fade away. I
You
don't
know
know.
who guarded him though at times is Jaylen Brown.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Agreed. I was just going to say that. Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say enough about that guy recently.
Yeah.
He is just got a different attitude, a different mentality that just, you're going to have your complaints. He's not, he's not the most dynamic playmaker at times, but he just has an attitude and a determination that is just
Agreed.
that you need in the playoffs from some of your guys that are just gonna get tough buckets and not back down to anyone and play defense. He's guarded Damian Lillard and Zion head on two different. That's like, I mean, the versatility there. He's taking on all the challenges, and I just think
he's stepping up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's just got something different going
up.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at the very beginning of the game, I was really concerned. I'm like, who is going to stop him from going to the hoop? Who's stepping in
he
front
is a
of him?
tank.
But that seemed to kind of disappear. And you're right. I guess I should have paid more attention. I do remember him taking him and slowing him down a little bit. But I agree. I think overall our execution was really good.
Yeah. And you can see in the box score, everyone in double figures. Tatum leading with 23, 17 for Jalen, Kristaps 19. That's right about where everyone should be. Tons of assists across the board. 4 for Tatum, 7 for Holiday, 6 for Jaylen Brown, 3 for White, 3 for Porzingis. It's like, that's right on the money. That's exactly where we want to be. And the bench, didn't really, only 3 shots each for Pritchard and Hauser, but yeah, I just thought, and isn't it funny that like I'd rather be like like the team like that's losing and like trying to come back at the end of a game than winning. I feel like if we're losing, it's just like a totally different scenario versus like
Yeah.
we're winning, like losing by 5, like going into the fourth quarter. I'm like, all right, we're here, we're coming.
Yeah.
And winning, it's like,
Worse,
oh
we
no,
have a
we're
5.
just
We're like, how are we
fading
going to protect
away.
this? Yeah.
Yes, it's like
How are we going to
what?
protect this lead?
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, can you just play the game?
Yes. Oh, no, agreed. No, this was a good win.
Agreed.
And I'm not sure what they're going to do to kind of get to that next level.
The
But it
Pelicans,
almost
they have a
seems,
ton of flexibility. They have like the Lakers pick that they could choose to take
yeah,
either this year or next year. And
they need another good piece, I think.
I think there's been, CJ McCollum trade talks trying to get maybe a younger guy in there.
He
But
had 24 in this game.
yeah, he's good, but just
Yeah.
he's kind of, older guy, the odd man out of their kind of better players. And
Yeah. I was trying to
yeah,
see
and
if
I
they
mean,
had
no,
anybody
again,
else.
we should they didn't have Brandon Ingram too, who's a good contributor for them.
Yes. I was just looking at who was out for them. I don't know their team all that well.
I mean, like, yeah, can no one come full strength against us? We'll get to that later, but we haven't played a good team at full strength in like months.
True. It'll be interesting the next few games. The Bucks, you think they're coming full strength? I don't know.
Are we coming full
We gotta
strength?
come.
That's the better
Yeah,
question.
that's gonna be.
What do
Yeah.
we got to play for?
Do you put people that you really care about up against Giannis at this point? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting. I mean,
Again,
nobody
you have
likes
a
to
little-
sit. That's the great news about our team is nobody really wants
those
to
guys are
take a game
competitors.
off.
Yeah, they don't want to. They play. Everyone
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good win.
Yep. And from there, traveled north, still on the road to Charlotte, face the Hornets. The Grant Williams revenge game, 23 points.
Yeah. I'm glad.
No JB. He missed
Yeah.
this one. Talk about another team that's ready for the off season, but
yeah, agreed.
they did show a little fight, more than the Pistons. At least I'll give them that.
Yes.
Anything else you got in this one?
And they're missing LaMelo and Seth Curry and Cody Martin. I mean, they have a lot of people out.
Yeah,
and not even with them, they're not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. LaMelo's just constantly hurt at this point. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do next year.
Yeah, who knows?
But no, nothing outstanding in this game as well for me.
Yeah, let me pull things up. Yeah, Derek White played really well. But yeah, no. Again, another heater for Sam Hauser, 7 for 11
he's
from
been
3.
Unbelievable.
Him and
He's
Pritchard,
really
man,
good.
just if they can play like this in the playoffs, it's like, oof.
Yeah.
All their kind of bench problems have been silenced by both of those guys.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a good outing for pretty much everybody.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Nothing much except for poor Drew. He had 2 points.
Oh yeah, he was like 1 for 11 or something. Oof.
0 for 8.
Just coming back too. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The shoulder or whatever.
Yeah. The dead arm, whatever they called it.
Yeah. Yeah. They kept replaying that, showing what had happened to him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was smiling. He was working. Yeah. Poor Hornets. They want their season done.
Yes. Another team is just. I think we're going to see a few more of those games coming up.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to the last one on the list. Back home finally after quite a long road trip. Celtics beat the Thunder 135-100. Game was closer than that score would indicate for most of the time. But no, again, I just said that no Jalen Williams or Shea. Can a competitor come at full strength with us? I mean, like everyone every good team seems to
2 top scorers were out
and just fold. What?
Yeah. I guess both are.
Yeah, those are their best players.
Yeah, both out, and they still look good. I'll tell you right now, one large center, one key piece, and
Jared Allen. I've been saying this. Jared Allen.
Yeah, they are gonna be unbelievable.
Well, here's the other thing. They have a million.
Coached.
They have a million draft picks. A million draft picks. They have everybody's draft picks. It's ridiculous.
So well coached.
They're gonna have a million more players to add to this team. They're just,
I
their
had,
organization is, very well run.
they just couldn't shoot I mean, unfortunately, I mean, we weren't even shooting all that
Well,
well.
and they have
And
no size. That's the
totally couldn't
thing. It's a
shoot.
big
Yeah. I
Porzingis
mean,
game.
when Porzingis looks that good on the boards,
Well, I was gonna. I mean, this is what I was like. I had it in my notes. I was like, we ran a lot through Porzingis, especially like right to start the. And I think we should have done it even more. I mean,
Yeah.
Chet's just
Yeah.
too small to guard Porzingis,
Yes.
and I mean,
He's
we should
super
have just
fun to
ran
watch
every play through
offensively,
him.
though.
What?
Chet is so fun offensively,
Yeah,
though.
I
He
mean,
moves
correct,
so well. They
but
move
but
offensively, they move so well.
but it really does kind of show what Porzingis brings to this team though,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, you're gonna go small against us. You can't do that because Porzingis has the versatility of, stretching you out and playing kind of small, but at the same time, he's the biggest guy out there and
Yeah.
just can bully you offensively.
Yeah.
Um,
12 rebounds, They're not a
yeah,
big team when
no,
Porzingis gets 12 rebounds.
correct. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you play too small, uh he can just bully you. But if you have the bigger guys in there, you got to kind of bring in another guy
Yeah.
and he can stretch you out. Clinched
Um,
home court with this one. That's the only other note I had.
yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. Do you know of anybody being out tonight against the Kings?
I don't know if they've announced yet.
Yeah.
Let's check
Well,
Twitter.
I'm just wondering. Going to the game.
You are going to the game,
I am going to the game.
leaving straight after this to TD.
I watched the
Oh,
Kings.
yes, we have it out.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown out, Derek White out, Jaden Springer out.
Okay, it'll be fun.
Just announced about an hour ago. Yeah,
They
it'll be
played last
good.
night. I watched part of the Kings. Forgot who they played last night. And they weren't looking great.
No,
The Kings
they've
were
been
not looking
struggling.
great.
Malik Monk
Yeah.
is out. I think they lost Herder for the year.
Yeah, they were struggling offensively, definitely. Knicks. They played the Knicks, which Randall's out. Julius Randle.
Out for the year. Yeah,
That's huge for them.
that's tough. Yeah,
That is really tough because they're fourth right now, I believe.
they've been playing well even without him.
Yeah. Ananobi wasn't in last night. They still won the game, right?
I don't know if he's coming back too.
I know.
He's been
That's what a loss. Those two players.
trade for him, and then it's tough.
That is really tough. Still a decent team, but as far as locking probably the East or the whole thing, they really needed those two players.
Yeah,
If they even stood a
especially,
chance.
I mean, Randall's kind of your Porzingis buster because he can't guard him. So, I mean, it's another team that Porzingis is just a huge mismatch for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
So anyway,
that.
yeah.
Anything else on
But
the
getting
Thunder?
back to the Thunder,
Yeah.
I really would have liked to see with SGA and
I know every team, every good team we play is like, oh, we'll just sit our best players this game. Bucks are like, oh no, Giannis. What?
Yeah. No, I was definitely bummed because they're a fun team to watch. I just enjoy how they move the ball and defense is a struggle and rebounding is a struggle.
Yeah, they're going to be so
but
good.
offensively, their inbounding plays, the way they move, they are good.
They're
One piece, and they could clinch the whole thing in the next couple of years. I mean, they are really fun. I mean, Giddey he moves so well, and he plays decent defense.
Yeah.
He's
been struggling from 3-point range. That was kind of but he's starting
their
to
whole
find
team.
that again.
I think their shooting is shooting, and I don't think they really even have a great 3-point shooter, do they?
No, I mean,
I don't think
Jalen
anybody
Williams
comes to
can
mind.
hit it all right. I mean, Chet maybe their best one.
Yeah. But fun team to watch. So I was disappointed not to get to see.
Yeah, they just need a little more size. Too small.
Yes,
Chet just can't play the 5, especially against a team that has a scoring big.
Yeah, agreed.
And
but it was a fun game.
said,
I thought we played decently.
Yeah, the game
we
crushed them in the end, but the score was not indicative of how close the game was for most of it.
Yeah, and they play great defense. I mean, they stripped Jaylen Brown, I don't know how many times. Their hands are quick. They play good defense kind of on the fly. Yeah, I'm very impressed without their top two players. I can only imagine with their top two
And they're
players.
so
They're a
young.
good team.
Oh my goodness.
And
They're
they're
going to
tied
be,
right up there in the West.
yeah.
I think they're
And they're the
one
youngest
game
team in the
behind.
league. They're going to be
Yeah,
absolutely bonkers good.
agreed.
And they
No,
have
they're
like, let's see, OKC draft picks. I'm going to look up how many draft picks they have because it's obscene. It's obscene how many draft picks they have.
they were bad for a while there.
So they traded uh um they traded Paul George to the Clippers
Hmm.
and they got Shea back and like 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, so smart. Like,
So they have this year they have the Clippers first-round pick. They have the Houston's first-round pick. They have Utah's first-round pick, 1 through 10 protected. Next year they have their own 20 this is 2025. They have their own pick. They have Houston or the Clippers, depending on which one's better. They have Miami's first round pick. They have Philadelphia's first round pick. They have Atlanta's second round pick. They have our second round pick. 2027, they have Denver's first round pick. 2027, again, they have LA's first round pick. They have Dallas's 2028 first round pick. They have Denver's 2029 first round pick. They have a million picks going forward.
Yeah. I think they bundle those for somebody and they
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They have so much flexibility in terms of who they can draft or pick or trade, or it's like they're already so good and they have so much room to get better. Well, half their guys are still on their rookie contracts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're like the young
Coached.
Celtics back when we
Very
had
well
that.
coached. Yeah. No, they've done a good job with that team. I'm very impressed. Fun to watch. Agreed.
Yeah.
The score in the end was not indicative of the whole game.
Yeah, fourth quarter we kind of shellacked them, but
yeah,
close throughout. All right. I kind of previewed mine, but who was your opponent of the week?
Mine was DeAndre Hunter.
Oh.
Both games. Look at his stats.
Yeah.
He was so good. 24 in both games, I believe. Yeah. I mean, I just thought he was excellent. Very consistent in every category.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21, 24. He had one of the games, he had 13 rebounds. Yeah, I just thought he played extremely well.
Like we kind of talked about, he's stuck on that kind of Trae Young centric Hawks team where I think a lot of times he doesn't get that. Yeah. Mine reminds me kind of when John Collins was with them too. Remember him? Yeah. He's on the Utah now, but
he was such a good player. I'm not sure what happened. It has to be injury because now I watch him on other teams. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
he used to be one of my
himself. I know. He used to be a guy.
Players.
He's a
very athletic, very fun to watch.
That's kind of who DeAndre Hunter reminds me of, similar size and build.
Yeah.
And,
no, I thought he played extremely well.
Agreed. He is high upside, kind of hasn't been able to live up to what some people thought he'd be, but
exactly.
Solid.
Yeah, no, he had 2 really good games, I thought, against us. You?
Yeah, as I said, DeRozan, man, that guy is just a killer every time. Every time he's got that. Jimmy Butler has the same thing, that just mid-range kind of post up where it's just like, I mean, why don't you do this every time? It's like unstoppable. Old school kind of 2-point mid-range game that is just kind of a lost art in the NBA. It's a lot of 3 and paint play now, but man,
when he gets going,
brings it. I mean, you look at his stats too. I saw someone was questioning whether he's a Hall of Famer. Man, he might be. Averages 20 like every year for like 15 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys. And I would say, again, not to slight, but someone like Tatum, you get to the end of a game, you're down 1 point, and it's like, DeRozan's one of the guys you're like, oh no, he's going to hit this shot. He just has like a confidence in that he has that go-to move that he's going to hit that. Like a Tatum, you don't have that confidence. It's the same with Jimmy Butler. You're down 1, you're just dreading. Like he's going to make, you just have that feeling like he's going to make a play. I think DeRozan's the same way. He's just kind of got that killer move that, he's going to get those 2 points somehow. And
And how do you make Jason Tatum that way? How
I
do you
don't
give
know
us
what
that
it
player?
is.
Because I wouldn't say Jaylen Brown's that person either. Who's that person?
But I don't understand what it is about those guys that it's not like why can't Tatum have that back down step back that's just so odd? I can't put my finger on what that quality is
Yeah.
that like a Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler or DeRozan has that
Yeah.
like some guys just have it. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. It's hard to put
Yeah.
your finger on it. It's like need a
I,
bucket, you
yeah.
make the right, you have that like it's almost like they go into the play knowing what they're gonna do. They're
Yeah.
like, I have this move that I haven't like, that they know like they kind of played it in their head. I'm gonna do this, and if they do this, I'll do this, and
Yeah.
I don't
And if you
know.
think about Jimmy Butler, he actually goes typically to the side. His
Yeah,
go-to move is on the side, whereas I feel like Tatum gets the ball at the top, and
correct.
then his shot is a little bit further away than it should be. And and
Always
and
like a
I
step
almost
back three, and it's like
yeah,
even when you
or
don't need
almost
three.
a long two.
Correct.
It's like,
Agreed.
why can't we figure out
Yeah.
how to open you up closer to the,
Maybe that's it. You're right. It's those
you
paint
know,
touches. The Jimmy but
yeah,
like DeRozan
or
are
just
closer to the like
outside the
deep.
paint.
Yeah, it's not paint. It's
Yeah,
like deep kind of mid
yeah,
range, near
agreed.
closer to the paint. You're right. That might
Exactly. Yeah. And it
that
just
that's
seems
kind of
like
where
it
they
is in an
operate.
awkward position. We are not setting him up
But
to
you know what
be,
else both those guys do so well that Tatum or even Brown, Brown a little bit more never is as soon as you don't expect it, they hit you with the pump fake and they get the guy in there and like I gotcha and they get fouled
yeah,
or they go up and
yeah,
under. It's like
yeah,
they just have
yeah,
that kind of like I'm gonna make a move and you don't know exactly what it is, but from
yeah,
that kind of block,
yeah.
like
And
a
Tatum's
block
moves
extended, they just
are a
have
little
that like
slow to go. He's got
yeah.
that almost like he has to get that dribble going in order to get
Hmm.
to his shot, and it's so easily read. I think it's easy to double team. Easy. By the time
Yeah.
he goes up for his shot, they've already clearly got at least two guys on him. So
Yeah.
yeah, that I think if he could figure that out, if
That
we as a
closing,
team
like you need 1 point, you need a
if
point.
we could
Yeah.
figure out how to make that happen, we
Yes.
would be unstoppable. But in a close game, I think that's the case with every fan. You're nervous. You're like, oh no.
But there are those guys who you just know. It's like it's
Yeah,
DeRozan, it's
yeah.
Jimmy Butler. I'm trying to think of another. Those are the first two that come to my mind where you're just like, oh,
Steph Curry.
Curry, yeah. But that in a different way almost, because that's a whole team kind of operation. He's not Curry's not going to get you like a one-on-one bucket
Yes, true, true. Yes, yeah.
as much
Those are
as
the
those guys. Those
tough
guys, it's
guy.
just
Yeah,
like a slow marauding.
yeah,
The clock's
yeah,
winding down.
yeah,
They know it's winding down. They have
yeah.
they have it timed
Broad
perfectly.
shoulders,
Yes, you're just like,
tough.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that clock's winding down. It gets under 10
Hmm.
seconds. You know they're about to make a move and you just can't
Yeah,
stop it. And
yeah,
like I said, as soon as like they just have this sense of can I fade away and hit the two, or do I pump fake because the guy thinks the clock's running out and then I can get to the foul line or go up and under. He doesn't think I have enough time to, but I do. Kind of, I
yeah,
don't know what it is about those moves that just there's a few guys in the league that just have it from that kind of block extended area.
yeah.
And DeRozan's one of those guys.
Yep. Well, I agree. He played extremely well. Extremely well. I think he's one of the people keeping the Bulls in it at this point.
Oh yeah, he's the only one. I mean, who else, without them, they'd be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
terrible team. I mean,
Yep.
they got better when
Caruso
Levine was
being
out.
as much of a
Caruso's good.
star.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
There's
he's
talk
still
of him.
not top notch. I don't know.
No,
That
no, no.
kind of
He's like
tells
a
you,
high-end role player.
yes,
You need
yes. And
other
now he's,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, good pick.
Um,
And then one more thing I'm going to bring up for all the NBA East. You ready?
yeah.
I watched Embiid's game the other night. He looks good. We were hoping he would come back and
Yeah.
not quite be himself. He looks slimmer. He looks in good shape and he looked good in the game. Like
Yeah.
I was surprised, like almost hadn't missed a beat, moving incredibly well.
Yeah, I can't say I'm
So
not. I haven't watched, but I can't say I'm not still skeptical come playoff time. I don't know.
I'm hoping maybe he's on some cortisone. Maybe it's just brief.
Yeah,
But he looked really, I thought he looked really good. And they played Maxi didn't play in the game that I saw. Was it the Thunder? I think it was against the Thunder. Maxi didn't play and they won. And they had a close game against
okay.
the Heat.
Yeah. Well,
So
okay.
Thunder and the
If it
Heat.
was against the Thunder, they have no one
Well,
guarding
agreed.
Beat. That's
But
like easy
yes.
pickings for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. But I mean, they don't have much else. When Maxi's out, they don't, I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
Tobias
agreed.
Harris was terrible. He could not hit a shot to save his
But that's
life.
what I mean. I don't know. They still do. I mean, it's annoying that we might get them in the first round. It's going to be them or the Heat. It's just like, ugh, those are
Yeah.
the two that we get in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
round.
I'm not necessarily worried about them, but I was impressed. I thought he
Yeah.
looked good for being out all of those games. He's back. I mean, he looked good in this game. Um Not yeah, the East now, Randall's out. I mean, I'm not that nervous about the East. Maybe I should be because we were beaten by the
I
Hawks
just,
twice
again,
in a
it
row.
annoys me. We're gonna get either the Heat or the Sixers.
Yeah.
We are by far the best team, and every year this happens to us. 2 years ago, we got the stupid zombie Nets in the first round. Thankfully, we were able to put away. If history tells us anything, maybe it won't matter as
Yeah.
much as we think.
Yeah.
But don't love it.
I think we're going to be in good shape.
Only other thing I had is, do we have any injury concerns? Drew with the shoulder thing, he's back, seems to be okay. I don't know if you
He
saw
was smiling a lot last night.
Jaylen Brown talking about his hand. He's got a hand ligament sprain or strain on his left
Wait,
hand.
did that happen in a game the other night? I thought it did. I thought I
He
saw.
he talked about it after the Thunder game, so I'm assuming it happened
Yeah.
before that, and they'd already kind of
Yeah.
done tests on it. And he said, I mean, he said in his press conference he's not worried about it, shouldn't be a problem, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
just
that's what I
something to
say. The
keep an
next
eye
few
on.
games,
Yeah, exactly. What are we doing?
let's figure this out.
No
And yeah,
reason
yeah,
to
yeah.
push anybody in
Yes.
anything.
Yes. Yeah.
He was saying,
And Porzingis too. Keep him
yeah,
protected. Like
keep him in a
that
glass
little twig,
case.
little
Yes, keep
twig.
him in
We
a
don't want him
glass
broken down.
case. Ship him like the Pope in the Pope mobile and the glass around him. Just keep him
Well,
in that thing
especially playing
waving.
some of these teams that aren't playing for anything, right? They've nothing to lose. We don't want to be hurt to somebody who's, playing their hearts out because they're not playing for anything.
Yeah.
So yes, no more injuries. Nothing happening. We just need to get to the playoffs. And it's so funny because I think this is one of the first seasons when you clinch first place, you clinch so early, you're in the playoffs. Now you're looking at the end of the season like, okay, we just want these few games to be over with at this point. Like,
Yeah.
no injuries. Get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I have.
That's all I got. We got coming up tonight versus the Kings. You're leaving for TD Garden momentarily.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Hours.
yeah,
Should be
well, by the
fun.
time this is posted, it's momentarily.
Last game I'm going to of the season. We
Last
are
game
not
of the year in the Garden.
we're not doing postseason tickets this year.
Not doing postseason.
Nope.
Um,
Opted out. Too much traveling.
yeah, Claudia and I were looking up maybe making a trip to the Amazon, and thankfully I was looking at we're gonna do it beginning of June, and I was like, looked at the schedule. I was like, Celtics are in the finals. I'm not gonna be on a boat in the Amazon. Are you crazy? I'm gonna be losing my mind. Like, no internet access. Like, can't do it. Can't do it.
No, that's a
That'd
tough
be
time to
terrible.
go. Yeah.
That would be
A little bit
terrible.
later. A little
Yeah.
Amazon, huh? That's the next trip.
Yes, that's definitely the next trip. It's, again, the timing is now annoying because I don't want to miss that, but I don't want to be back for the summer, and it's a whole ordeal. So we're trying to figure that out. But yeah, I'll be back in Boston for some of the playoffs. Get some in-person pods going.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah, maybe some live streams. I've been thinking about doing some. We do some live streams right after games.
Sure.
Get our thoughts. Maybe get people to tune in
Yeah.
to those. So we'll that's TBD. Maybe we can do some experimentation with that after the plan or something. But we'll see. I'm thinking our next pod is after the regular season. Let's just
Agreed.
what are we talking about at this point? We've
Yeah.
clinched.
Yeah.
We'll do a
Yeah.
pod at the end of the regular season, pre-playing, review the last 6 games or so. I mean,
I can't even complain about Tatum stepping out of the way at this point. Like, step out of the way
yeah,
on defense.
exactly.
Don't take a hit, people.
I know.
You're done
Th-
playing
three-
heavy defense.
3 of our last 6 games are against the Trailblazers, Hornets, and Wizards, all at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people should be sitting.
Yes,
A
let's get a lot of
people.
Jordan Walsh minutes going.
Yeah. Or not playing many minutes. Exactly. If we can't legally sit, let's like limit the minutes at least.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, it's playoff time. Let's just get everyone healthy. Like I said,
Yep.
Drew's shoulder's hurting it all. JB's hand. He's already got enough left hand problems. We don't need strained ligaments.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's all I got as well. As usual, what's our sponsor? What do we got today?
Oh, the same. It's been so good. Bubbly lemon sorbet.
Bubbly lemon sorbet, today's unofficial sponsor. Bubbly, if you'd like to become the official sponsor of Shamrock Talk, let us know. It's low price to pay. You can find us worldwide, all platforms: Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook at Shamrock Talk Pod, on Twitter at Shamrock Talk, on Instagram. And we'll see you at the end of the regular season. Do a pre-plan pod and then a post-plan pod or something once we know the Celtics matchup. But it's about that time of year, finally. And Shamrock Talk will be ready for it.
Excited for it.
Celtics.
Go Celtics.